Volja, and it means willpower in Ukraine language. Because my grandmom is from Ukraine, so I really love the strength of the word.
Off-Gassing, a scuba podcast with host Nick Hogel. I was very excited to invite Sanne Volja back to the podcast to hear more about her journey. A journey that started with a fear of the deep to becoming one of the most passionate and active explorers in the technical diving community. Consistently training to master her craft naturally led her to Inner Space Explorers, where she met like-minded people who shared the same goals and approach to diving. Finding love, moving from Belgium to France, her path into the overhead, finding the right tool for the job, the Cavettes, and much more. Please enjoy. Welcome to the podcast. We made it. We had some scheduling issues, but we're here. Yeah. And welcome back to the podcast. It's awesome to have you on, and I'm excited to hear kind of more of your story, your journey, and it's great to see you again. So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
How is your morning going so far?
For the moment, it's fine. I'm in France, sun is shining, so life is good. I got some coffee, and here I am.
Nice. It's not too, actually, yeah, I guess it's the weather should be pretty nice over there, right? Being April. I know sometimes springtimes it could still be kind of cold, so it's not super cold or anything.
No, over here it's fine. I think the coldest I had for the moment must be like 9 degrees. So for me, it's like perfect because I come from Belgium, and over there we really have like 2 degrees winters. So I'm quite happy here with my new home. Yeah, it's really lovely.
Okay, cool. Well, my first question I will throw out there for you is, tell me how and why you got into scuba diving. Tell me about that first breath underwater, that first
Yeah,
experience, what led to the moment, where was it, how was it?
yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Okay. So before scuba diving, I was actually really, really afraid of the water, of what was underneath. So I was afraid of the fishes. In my head, everything could attack me. So I was this kind of person just staying on the floatable mattress on the water, hands and feet on the mattress to make sure that nothing is going to touch me. And if someone pushes me in the water, I was like panicking, but like panicking next level. It was one of my biggest fears, in fact. And then one day I was on a vacation in Gran Canaria. I saw some people going in the water scuba diving, and I was like, maybe I just need to try it because I cannot stay with this fear of the ocean. You mean like one day maybe you have like children around you and they want to go swim, and you're the kind of person saying, no, not for me, not for me. So I was like, we need to change this. And this kind of feeling when you see yourself doing something from above, like a movie kind of feeling. So I saw myself walking inside this shop, and I was like, I want to try scuba diving. And I immediately regret what I was saying, but I could not go back. So yeah, we did it. We went in the water, and instantly I had this kind of feeling over myself, like this is where I belong. But I've been missing out for years. It was so pretty. It was not like the most crazy dive ever because it's the first dive. But you see these light beams falling inside the water. You have like these little fishes immediately coming to you. There, I realized there's nothing scary here. It's just like this new option I have to discover a whole new world. So yeah, I was in love instantly. And the day after, I started with my first certification. And 1 month
Oh,
later, I came back for my second. So I was hooked straight away, going from nothing to all. Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. Especially to hear it like you were, I mean, terrified of the ocean, but you just essentially jumped right in. So that's amazing to hear, just because so a lot of people wouldn't even face that first initial, like, to get over that first hump of actually doing it. So
Yeah.
was it really difficult for you to actually go the first time? Like, were there moments of, I'm not going to do this, or were you like, had your
Mm,
mind set?
I think the most difficult thing is to say you're going to do it and to like sign in. After this, it feels like shit. I just need to go for it now. I took the first step and there's no way back. So for me, the hardest part was just to like take the step to say to this person, I'm going to do this. Afterwards, you're just like flowing, you know, like your first dive, everything is there comes a lot towards you. There's like all the stuff you don't know. So you're just like flowing a bit, like following the instructor, like, hey, come with me, it will be fine. You're like, so yeah, it's like this. For me, it was really like this. I was like, just go on and flow. And then once I was in the water, I don't know why it was like peaceful for me. It was instantly like, okay, this is what I was been missing for years.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
It was great. I'm telling this often to people who say like I'm afraid of diving, I'm afraid of the water. I'm like, hey, but listen to my story because maybe this can be you in the future as well. So yeah, and it helps.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure because I know some people it's a very big fear for them. So the fact that and I've heard that actually only a few times where people were like, "Oh, I was scared of it, so I wanted to go and do it and to kind of conquer that fear." So that's absolutely amazing. And then you said you immediately just jumped into your open water certification. I'm assuming the first time was a try dive and then right into open water.
Yeah, exactly. I signed in immediately for my open water, and it was the 2 days who followed. And then 1 month later, I came back to Gran Canaria as well because I really had a good feeling in the environment there. It's really lovely, easy diving. So I came back for my advanced, and then straight after, I prolonged. I don't know the word in English anymore. I add on another vacation, and I went to El Hierro. So I'm talking about in 2 months, I did my two certifications and I went to straight away to a dive vacation as well. So I was hooked, but like next level hooked, and it never went away.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that. And then I'm assuming at first it was kind of was it just vacation dives, but because you're obviously doing quite a bit more now. So when did you start kind of progressing? I mean, was it just like okay, advanced is done, I'm doing vacation dives. I need to take another course because I know for some people there might be a huge gap from open water to when they start progressing further into the sport. So how was your progression after advanced?
So in Belgium, I signed up to a club, a diving club, and they went diving, I think, once a week. But I quite fast had like the feeling that it was not enough for me to just like swim around. And I did not even knew about caves nor wrecks, technical diving. You know, in the beginning, you're not aware of this kind of world. So the only thing I was feeling like it's not enough for me. I need like more. I need more. And then I connected with Peter, a really good friend of mine, who was still a technical diver at that point, and he was like, hey, you know, there's more, just come with us for one dive. And the thing I loved in the beginning with them is that they train a lot, and this gave like a whole kind of meaning to diving for me. So it was not straight away cave wreck diving, but just like the fact that people are training and not just swimming around. This was a thing I always was attracted to sports. Like you can train and become better, and you have like goals, like little goals. Oh, next week I want to don't lose my buoyancy when take off my mask, like little small goals. I put it up for myself each week, and you see progress. And this was the first thing that attracted me to diving. And slowly, I guess it was like obvious to grow towards this technical diving program, just because I wanted to like challenge and improve myself. Yeah, I think it just grew naturally like this.
Okay, okay. And how did you go from like the transition from those waters to I'm assuming it's a little bit more cold in Belgium?
Yeah, I was diving wetsuit in Belgian waters the whole winter. No, I'm maybe just one winter, but I did it. You know, I can say check. I did it. I remember like diving wetsuit in Oosterschelde. It's like the river of the North Sea. So in the winter, it was like I think 4 degrees something. And I remember actually that the water was warmer than outside. So let's say outside it was 2 degrees. We're like freezing. You go in the water and you have like for 2 seconds, and then or not. So the transition I think I was lucky enough to transition from Gran Canaria to Belgian waters in the summer, and then slowly it became colder. But the more I dived, the more excited and motivated I was as well. So I guess it was like going colder, but me going more motivated. So you don't mind about the temperature anymore because you're like so hooked about it. So
That's awesome. And then, so at this point, when you started or when you joined the club, was that kind of when you were like, okay, I need to get my own gear, start moving into like ownership of your own gear? Because I know sometimes that could be a little bit of a
yeah.
process for people too.
So in the beginning, I think a lot of divers, I bought everything and I don't have anything of this anymore. I changed everything in like maybe 2 or 3 months. So the club I was into, I stayed into, but I really fast stopped with doing the club activities. I was more looking like who wants to train with me and who is on my kind of thinking. This is why when I say I met Peter, and it was with Peter we were like looking at our materials, and I saw material of him that was say like, if I can I use this one because I want to compare with the gear I have right now because I didn't want to throw everything away. And I think diving with him opened my eyes about the other possibilities of material. And it was really slowly that I changed my gear just by testing some products of the people I was diving with. And I also did like fundamentals, you know what this means, like, but from ISE. And there I started with my equipment first, and slowly, yeah, I don't know, you just see others doing things more easy, and then you're like, is it me who is just not this kind of diver, or is it me that needs to adapt my material? And then by testing materials of others, you realize like, in fact, it makes it easier to dive with. So I think this is the way I changed my gear.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I was the same way. I bought, just the typical. I still have a good amount of it, but the jacket BCD, the just regular, regulator. I actually got rid of the regulator. So actually, I don't even know if I have anything anymore. It's kind of all been swapped over, and now I just have too much stuff laying around and I need to figure out what to do with it. And then quick question. So the ISE inner space explorers, correct?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them because I know I'll be honest. I know that they are an agency. I've seen quite a bit of videos, and I'm horrible with names, but I think he's like the main guy. He has a lot of videos that he puts out.
Yeah, it's Achim. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me a little bit about them as like just an agency. What attracted you to them the most?
For me, in everything I do, the thing that attracts me most is the feeling I have with people. Okay. I came in contact with ISE because of dive buddies of me. I had a really good feeling with them. I felt really safe with them on the water and as in a friendship. And this counts a lot for me. So I saw the way they were diving, and I just felt like it's okay, it's good. I dive with a lot of other people as well. Really important. I was the kind of girl asking in forums, who wants to dive Friday night? Bam, I'm free. So I dive with several others so I could compare. And with them, I just saw like, this is my way of diving. What I love a lot about ISE is that they go for less is more, the DRI concept. I'm really like carré. I don't know how to say. I'm Belgian girl. Like for me, it needs to be less. It needs to be straight in the open, really clear. And this like I like a lot. I like the idea of they will never say like this is good or this is right. They just put out the tools for you. Like, hey, this is a tool you can use. Go on and explore for yourself. And if you need help, come back. And this is what I do with my students as well. I do love the fundamental course because they came to you. And I'm not saying what you're doing is good or is right. I'm just like, hey, let's do this exercise. I will do it for you. Let's do it together. And afterwards we can discuss. Then you're just like, you're clicking. You just feel like, okay, this way of thinking is not bad at all. For me, ISE is a combination of a really strong, clear procedure and formation, and good friendships, really good friendships.
Okay. And I'm actually curious because so you when you were looking for buddies, you were going onto forums to meet people to dive. Is that common? Because I'll be honest, I don't know if I've actually done that. I mean, I really only go on. I mean, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups, obviously, but like as far as forums, I think Scuba Board is the only one I really go on. So, is there a big forum community?
So I actually made a mistake with forum. I meant Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So a Facebook group. Oh, lolo. Now I feel like this
Okay.
generation don't know what, who does not know how to say the terms. I'm
No,
getting
no, no, no.
old.
It's totally fine. Yeah. I'm actually I'm about to have a birthday this next week, and definitely I'm kind of feeling up there in age, but young at heart, right? Young at heart. So we're
This is the most important thing. Young in heart and in the mind.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And so I was not bummed, but so there's a big dive show coming up in Singapore, and I was like, man, I should really go. But the problem is, it falls right on my birthday, and
Oh,
so I was just like, I don't, I like Singapore, I like dive shows, but not on my birthday. I'd
yeah.
rather go do something else.
I do know what you mean. Like diving is a big, big, big part of our life, but we still have like this, like our life aside of diving, and we need to keep this high as well.
Yeah, it's all about the balance, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I found out about this more over here in France, to be honest, when I met Arthur. Before I was like 90% of the time diving. Now I'm diving less, but I do enjoy so much more the little moments and moments with family and friends.
Okay, okay. Well, actually, that was going to be a question. So, what brought you from Belgium to France?
Arthur?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we met at boat Düsseldorf, the boat show. Yeah. And he's from France, and I just followed him for love.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's amazing because I don't I have love, and I have the pleasure to live in the most beautiful area of France as well. So I'm so lucky that he's from here, because imagine that he was from up in the north. I would follow him as well. I would follow him as well, but I'm so lucky to that he's from France, because we have wrecks, we have caves, we have the ocean, we have the sun, we have the wine, we have the fromage and the baguettes.
France is a destination I've wanted to go to for a long time. I used to do back in my younger days in my 20s. I used to snowboard quite a bit, and France was always a place that I was like, man, I got to get there. Chamonix, I think, correct? That's the name of the place, the mountain.
I don't know this place, but I guess Chamonix. It sounds
I might
French,
be
no?
saying it wrong.
Chamonix.
It's my American accent coming out. But okay, and then so when you made the transition to France, the like you said, there's quite a bit of diving, but when did you start kind of venturing into the overhead?
I think it was as well like somebody saying to me, there are caves. And I was like, caves? Do people dive in caves? It's crazy, because you're like 20, maybe at that point I was like 27, and then you're 27 years not aware of people diving in caves. So for me it was new, and I know people are saying, yeah, I think it will be something for you, because you're really like strict. I'm really strict in my diving procedures, and really it will be for you. And I was like, I cannot say this. I don't think I will be afraid, but I cannot say if it will be something for me. So I did the try dive, the cavern try. Yeah, it was instantly for me. In the beginning, it was really my thing, because there's a lot of procedures, like I told before, and I do love this a lot. You need to train, you need to be focused. I just love it. For me, on my job, I have is this as well. It needs to be challenging. It needs to be hard, because this motivates me even more. And it's like, I don't know. I'm looking for the word of it. Like, it attracts me. Like,
Oh,
attracts me. Yeah, yeah. If it's hard and if it's challenging, it's my thing. It's give me like adrenaline. I just want to learn. I just want to train and find out. Yeah. So I guess it was this thing why I started cave diving. And in the beginning, yeah, the first cave I did was a mine in Belgium. It was a dark, muddy hole, let's say. So I cannot, I'm not the kind of person who can say, I would be lying if I would say like my first cave dive, I start cave diving because it's so pretty. I saw pictures online, yes, but my first cave dive was not pretty. It was more like doing the technical kind of stuff, and this I loved. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, I went to the Lot, to France, and there, yes, there I started to realize like nature is beautiful as well. So yeah, this was the way I started in cave diving.
Okay, okay. And now you do quite a bit of dry caving as well.
Yeah, I started with this already 2, 3 years ago. I think I did a formation in the Lot with Olivier Testa because often in Belgium, we don't have a lot, but often in Belgium and in France, you have these dry caves. And in the end of this cave, there's water. And this is where it gets interesting. So I just wanted to have the options, like I just wanted to experience this part and know how to do it for if one day I need to do dry caving to get to the access of the water, I have it. And it was amazing. Again, it's like a lot of technique. And this is what I love. You need to think everything over. You have step one, step two, make sure to check this and this. And this is my thing. So, and the add-on, like in diving, aside of the technique, you have like this beautiful environment, like these stalactites and stalagmites who've been there for years. It's mind blowing. Yeah.
Because I always kind of wonder. Well, I know some people are dry cavers, and then that's how they get into diving in the caves. I feel like I might get into it the same way because I'm actually going to start my overhead training in a little over a month, and yeah, I'm very excited, nervous. It's
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes, But I'm headed to Mexico. I'm extremely excited. Something I've been trying to plan for a while, but there's a lot of dry caving in the area or in Malaysia. There's a lot of dry caves. There's exploration going on for underground or caves to dive, but it's I don't want to say like kept quiet, but there's just not much in this part of the world. There's definitely some spots in Thailand. Indonesia is obviously a spot that's I feel like really coming up. But I was kind of just telling myself like, oh, I should probably get into dry caving because I can see the benefits of doing it. And tell me a little bit about your dry caving. What like the first time you went in? How was it? Because I see sometimes you come out and you're pretty muddy.
But I do love mud. Like, but I do love mud, but I prefer the dry caves who are like big and with a lot of rope technique going vertical. So the muddy caves are more like on hands and knees crawling in the mud. So I do love mud, but after 10 meters on my hands and knees, I'm like, "Mm." So I prefer big and going deep and a lot of technique. Luckily, here in France, we have a lot of deep caves. But the most of them I did in a lot. So over here, I'm starting to do this again, but I needed to refresh my techniques because it was a while. So we did a refresh 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago to make sure to do it again. But my first experience was in the lot, and it was immediately as well a course to learn how to put your anchors yourself. This was interesting. It was really heavy.
That's got to be scary.
I don't know. I did not have this scary part because I'm this kind of person. I do believe a lot in having self control. I don't like to give control to other people. I like sitting in the back of a moto, not my thing because I cannot control. So I am a control freak. This is why I love diving because you're like really aware of yourself. You have team, of course, you have team, but first you have self awareness. And when you need to put your anchors in a cave, I remember a situation where I was like 30-meter down cave and down me, and I was hanging and putting my anchors. So you're like still on the line on your left side. You put your two anchors, and then you need to hop on the line. You put it. So it's like, will it hold or will it not hold? And I remember I have a video of it. I'm like, Chung. It's like, yeah, I did it. I did it. No, it's it's cool. It's you're doing it yourself. You're actually building your own life safe protection. Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. I would recommend it to everybody who's not afraid of heights to do it. Actually, I'm afraid of falling, but not of heights. It's really it's two different things, I think. So I'm afraid of falling, but in speleology, I don't have it when I am on a line. How to say it, on a court? Court? What's
Rope.
a rope?
Yeah.
I'm like I'm using like French word and I make them look like English, like court.
It's all good.
It's a mess.
Oh, no. That's amazing. Yeah, it's something that yeah, I have to start doing a little bit more dry caving, and I think too, maybe after the cave course, I'm sure it'll open up because I feel like you start going in there and start learning the geology of it. It just becomes I feel like I could see the attraction to it.
Yeah.
And then just a quick question on rebreathers. So when did you kind of start going down the CCR route? Is that because you wanted to go further, stay longer in caves?
It started because of exploration in the mines in Belgium. We needed one to walk really long, most of the time, like half an hour plus with all our gear. And the problem we faced was the mines are like 45 degrees down. So, which means, in fact, at 2 minutes, you're at 40-meter level. And then it ends because it's like one big corridor. One, so we were limited. Two, once your bubbles hit the ceiling, it was a mess. So there we could not see anything anymore. So the bubbles were like fucking up our visibility. And then slowly we realized, in fact, we need another tool for this kind of exploration. So for me, at that point on, the rebreather was a tool to do this kind of diving more safe and more, like I said, with better visibility, more safety. So this was the transition part.
So I guess I'm asking for myself because along with the cave certification, well, I like to say I'm starting the process because until it's finished, I'm not going to say that I'm going, I'm going to for overhead, but I have it all lined up, the cavern intro, full cave. But then I'm actually going to do some CCR training as well. And I guess my question is like, did you spend a good amount of time in open water before you made the transition into caves? And then how was that transition? Because I mean, it being all new to me, I'm like, what's the
Yeah.
route that I should go?
I often have a lot of people saying to me, "You went fast," but actually I dived a lot, but like a lot, a lot, a lot. I dived 7 times a week. It's a lot for people diving in Europe, well, in Belgium.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
So when I did the transition to repeater diving in a cave, I really had already a lot of open water cave dives. It was for me, I was instantly in love with the repeater diving because for me it was not a lot of difference feeling wise and in configuration because the sidewinder you just put it on to your side mount I would say like gear, let's say
Configuration.
configuration. Thanks. You just put it on. So the only difference I noticed then in caves was distance. You could go further. So for me, it was not a big, it was not like a crazy change. Maybe it will be for when you're going from a side mount to dive open water to back mount rebreather. Maybe then yes, but for me it was a really small adaptation.
Okay. The side mount route, did you ever go the back mount doubles route or did you just go right into side mount?
No, I did. I started mono tank, then I went doubles, and I did my normoxic actually on doubles as well. And it was again for me, side mount was a tool for exploration. So every change I made in my gear was because of exploring and realizing this is not working. We need to find a way to have it more safe and more easy. So therefore, I started side mount diving because it was in weight of carrying towards the dive sites was more easy, and we could squeeze more fluid going to the corridors of the mines to make sure we did not touch the ceiling or anything. So it was a tool, and for me it was, yeah, it's like a way of flying through the water. I don't go often back to back mount. I did it over here to go into the ocean to do like a small dive. Then I took like the one tank. But aside of this, I just love side mounts. The feeling is so natural.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm a very big fan of side mount. I recently did a GUE fundamentals course, and I actually had to throw on the back mount doubles for that. And it had been a while since I had thrown back mount doubles on, and I was like, ah. I mean, it was fine because I'm trying to get proficient in the different like tool sets, like you said. So it's something that I'm like, okay, I haven't done it in a while. Let's go do it. And it actually wasn't that bad. I really enjoyed it. And but if I could, I definitely am much more. I would prefer to go side mount. I feel like it's just a lot easier. So,
Yeah.
but something that I always like to ask is when you're about to go on an exploration project, tell me the mindset going into that. Like, is there, how are you feeling? I'm sure there has to be nerves at that point, or if there was nerves, would you not go, or do you know what I mean? Like, what's the mindset going into something like that?
Yeah, I'm always really excited, like everybody, I guess, like this. In in terms of nerves, I'm not like really stressed, but I'm really I have a three rule. I don't know the three-way rule. So I can have three problems, and if I hit the tree, I'm not going to dive. So this is my rule with exploration. So it can be, for example, in the morning, you have a fight with your mom. So you're already a bit, in the car riding towards the spot, like me, I don't feel good. Then you come to the dive spot. I forgot my backup lamp. Oh, it's okay. Take mine. And this is my rule, like three things going wrong even before the dive, and then I don't do it. I don't know why. It's maybe because your head is not 100% in the dive, because there happens something. And I always did like this, and I kept doing it, and it feels correct for me.
Okay, okay. No, I like that rule. And then is there a rule in the water is it kind of the same thing once you're in the water if you have like a certain amount of things that will go wrong? I mean, I know some people like, oh, if you have one thing go wrong, you should turn around, but I know there's different
Yeah.
levels of things going wrong. So,
Yeah, exactly. The tree rule is all together. It can be one thing outside the water, and then two things inside the water. But then, as you said, it depends what it is, what the problem is. I think, like in Belgium, I was diving often with Florian Simoens for doing explorations. And because we know each other really good, we have the same procedure, the same formation. It was really easy to dive with. And when there was a problem, it was just a way of looking at each other, and we already knew how to realize or how to fix or to end dive or not. A lot of people saying, yeah, it's dangerous to dive with the same person all over again, because then you get more like relaxed, or you don't do effort anymore to look at you're less aware. But with him, it was not this way. We both just like we were like one diver. You know what I mean? So it was really easy. When I was diving with somebody else, it would be just like a communication in the water to see how would we fix this. Most of the time, when you show your problem, the other person will immediately propose something as well. Would say like, "Hey, let's take this," or he takes out a tool, or he says immediately and dive. Yeah, I think it's more like on the moment you would see. Yeah, it's an ongoing process. I'm really thinking out loud while saying it. Yeah, there's so many different situations. I think it's really it depends situation on situation, and then you just need to communicate with your buddy, and together you find out. For sure, end of dive is end of dive, no question. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good answer, but sometimes if you're like, I'm thinking while I'm talking, so yeah. I think, yeah. I'm thinking while I'm talking.
that's perfectly fine. So the last time you were on here, you joined one of the roundtables with the world famous Cavettes, and I think you all were talking about a trip that you all were planning. That was I'm trying to think a few months ago. Like, did that trip happen, or is it coming up?
No, not
Uh,
yet.
okay.
Not yet, but we all have such a busy schedule as well. Like Sarah is teaching a lot on the Revo right now. So I'm so happy for her. Jojo, she's Jojo. She's all over the world, doing our Jojo thing. And I'm like, with moving to France in the beginning, it's like finding your way. It's a new country, it's perfect, but it's still like you went from another country to a new country, so you're like adapting. But we're talking about it. We're not sure yet what to do, but we will see each other for sure this year. I'm trying to get them over here as well because I'm like 1 hour half away from the Heaven wreck. I'm like 1.5 hour away the other way of all the other wrecks, like the Donateur, the Grec. I don't know if you know about it. We have like maybe like 30 wrecks over there
Oh, wow.
on a 1 hour half drive. Though. So I hope I can get them over here because it's easy. We have everything.
I was chatting with Sarah just like over Facebook or Instagram, and she was actually saying that she's going to be in the Philippines, I think later this year. I can't remember, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should try to get down there just because it would be awesome. And I was like, kind of, I even was saying it'd be amazing to be able to get in the water with everyone. So maybe y'all should make a warm water trip. You guys come to Bali, relax in the
Oh, I
sun. We can
hope.
go do some diving. It'll be pretty amazing. But tell me about you said so there's an area pretty close to you with a lot of wrecks.
Yeah. So I'm as well a newbie. So I'm not yet good with the information because I just moved here. We're planned already 2 or 3 times a dive, but they canceled because the problem here in winter, in like 2 months, the conditions of the sea are not always good. But aside of those 2 months, you have plenty of wrecks nearby Hier. One of the most famous ones are, I guess, the Ruby, which is a submarine, the Togo, Donator, Grec, and it's in all ranges. So you have wrecks 30-meter range, but you have wrecks going up to 90 meters. So a lot of people of Europe go wreck diving in the south of France in this area. So I'm really excited to explore them this year. So it's cool because I feel like lucky to live this close to these wrecks and to explore something new. And yeah, I'm looking forward. You will see all about it on Instagram, I guess, once I do.
I've done a little bit of wreck diving, but not as much as I would like to. I took a advanced wreck course in Subic. There's quite a bit of wrecks out there. I've done cenotes in Mexico, and but just the cavern zone, and then going into the wrecks was kind of I felt like my first true overhead experience, and it's crazy. It's definitely a lot of fun, just because I feel like your awareness becomes very heightened because you're going in this area and then everything's just kind of getting smaller and smaller, and I was explaining it to someone. I was like, man, you feel so alive in there, which is obviously kind of sounds dumb because we're obviously alive sitting here right now. But no, I super enjoyed it. So what about you? Any besides that, any big trips planned coming up?
For the moment, no, but we're doing a little project here with my boyfriend. We have a little exploration project 40 minutes from our house, so we're really focused on that right now. So it's a cave exploration.
Can you talk about it?
Let's say it's like it's a cave who's been there for a while, and a new passage we found. So yeah, that's it. No, it's super cool to do this with Arthur. In fact, it's like you have this love, the same passion, and then you can combine this with your other passion. So it's so much fun to do this in your weekends, actually. Like other people's do family stuff, and we go explore this little cave.
To be honest, that's actually kind of a goal. I don't really know where I want to take it, but a goal of mine is I'm going to go and do my cave training in Mexico. So I actually I did a side mount course over there, and I'd like to think of it as like my foundation of side mount. I learned a lot there. I was really comfortable with the instructor. So I was like, okay, when I start my overhead journey, I'd like to come back here. The shop is Under the Jungle in
Yeah.
Mexico. Super comfortable with them. I was like, okay, I'm going to come back here and start the cave journey. And then my goal actually is when I make it back to Malaysia, I know there's a group that goes around that is searching for caves. I'd like to try to link up with them and just, see what I can do to help. I'm obviously going to be very green, very new. And then obviously there's a lot going on in Indonesia. Robin out there, he's doing quite a bit of exploring. I think there's some other people doing quite a bit of exploring. So my goal is to make it back out here and do some caves just because I definitely am. I don't want to say I'm spoiled or anything like that, but I do like my warm water. So like just the idea of Indonesia and caves just is really appealing to me. But I'd eventually like to go and do some more cold water stuff at some point. So, but do you ever just do like a fun single tank dive?
I actually did I never went into the ocean with waves. So I was like, I love side mount diving. So I was like, I'm used to going inside the water with side mount. Thanks. And I found myself face planting the sand because a wave hit me. And I was like with my head down. Luckily, I had my regulator in my mouth. I always had, but I was like, okay, this is not working. And then Arthur was like, let me prepare you a single tank. So yes, I do go in the ocean still, like recreative, just having fun, looking at the fishes. We saw a really big octopus a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
For us, big is like 50 centimeter diameter.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, was the first time I saw an octopus this close, because he really stays with us and was like swimming around us. So I was like, what? So yeah, I still do it. I love it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I was just on a trip a few weeks ago and there was some really choppy waves and we were going off of a boat and I was like, I need to get some side mount time in because I did some back mount doubles, I did some side mount and definitely off of a choppy boat. I was like, yeah, back mount doubles is just definitely, or like back mount is just a little bit easier. Obviously I'm not a big fan of two tanks on my back. I mean, I know there's like, the big macho, like, oh, it's easy to carry, but I'm like, no.
It's what I said before. It's a tool for every kind of dive. So if it's needed to go back mount because it's more easy, I would do so. If it's easier to go monoblock inside the waves and you don't need more air, it's just a small dive, not deep. Yeah, why not?
My last question for you, and this is, I guess, kind of a personal question, just because I'm about to go into the overhead training, is what advice would you have for somebody that is about to go into overhead training?
Make mistakes.
Okay.
People are always scared of making mistakes, or are like really hard on themselves. Oh, I made so much mistakes, but out of those mistakes, you will learn a lot. I did like 10 days. No, I'm lying. 5 days, 2 dives a day in my overhead program. And I even cried once because it's a lot of information. It's really hard. You have one mistake you make your first dive. The second dive, you will focus so much on this mistake. You come up and you say, yes, I did not make this mistake. And then your instructor is like, yeah, but they did make this and this and this mistake. So it's really hard. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. It's normal. It's okay. And in the end, the last dive, you still have mistakes, but they will not be life-threatening anymore. So it's out of those mistakes that you will learn a lot. So make mistakes.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot because I actually will. I see myself doing the same thing at times where if I make a mistake, then I get hyper focused on that and then try to
Yeah.
overcorrect it, and then I lose focus on other things. And yeah, it's so no, that's great advice. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I absolutely appreciate you coming onto the podcast again, and I apologize again because of so for all the listeners out there, I am about 2 hours late the interview. So I am absolutely sorry about that for making you wait, and thank you for joining. It's been absolutely amazing to have you back on.
Thank you, Nick. I was late last time, so we're even.
Offgassing, a scuba podcast.